Hi, welcome back. This is Wan Lin, and today I'm making my third art tutorial for my friend Callie. And today I'm sharing with you guys exercises for hand dexterity and fine motor skills that are useful for drawing, which I invented a lot as a kid, and I would play around with them. So I never really technically learned this too much. I've heard about it here and there in class, and I really believe that drawing art, whatever physical gesture you're making, mark making, is a combination of movements from the smallest, finest aspect, like what we're practicing today with your fingertips, wrist, elbow, arm, shoulder, eventually torso, and entire body, depending on how large you're going format-wise. So today I'm starting with the very first part, which is the finest motor skills, your fingers, the small fine gestures, which literally you can improve with practice. It's just like doing drills in swimming or soccer. This is not really the lofty creative aspect of art today. We're going into the details of how you can train your body to obey what your brain wants to create. Because if you don't have that, then that's one less option, right? All right, I've got my sketch pad. I recommend for you guys to use a relatively large piece of paper. This is A3, so it's up like this. And I like the rings so that it's much easier to flip. And when you're drawing, if you're journaling and writing, it's fine to get a fine tipped pen. But I like to go with something with a bit more give on drawings where I need some variation, contrast, and expressiveness in the line, right? So I'm using a pen that my friend gave me that has a bit of a thicker lead tip, which I can manipulate. All right, so I'm gonna start off with something you might not expect. One thing I'd love to do as a kid is to get a piece of paper, something like this. The thicker it is, the more fun it is. You'll see why. So I would just get scissors, and then I would practice cutting the paper like so. And I would try to cut it as fine as I could without breaking it or tearing it or snapping it off halfway through. And you'll realize, and I recommend you do this with a thicker sort of card-like paper, like note cards. The finer you go, the more curled it will be. The skinnier you can get it, the better. And I remember doing this a lot as a kid, and I'm pretty sure this really helped me train my fine motor skills. So it will sort of curl up if you get it very thin and nice. So that's something that you wouldn't expect, right? Now moving on to paper. So, okay, let me just move the camera so you can see. All right, so now I'm going to start off with my first few exercises. Then later on, I'll show you a close-up of how I do them for more details. So first of all, I really like to practice drawing feathers, which are a series of curves formed from smaller curves. And I find that a big component or challenge for lots of people who are drawing is to get the right dexterity and adroitness in the wrist and the fingers so that you can move easily. So right now I'm doing it quite quickly, but you can start out slow, obviously, and build up your speed. I like to just draw those little curves that form a bigger curve. Now the second exercise is another form of curve, but with hatching. So what I'm doing is I draw a big curve, and then I use straight lines to go down and skip over, almost like a horse jumping over an obstacle course. And I jump over that little line. Now the thing is, I'm trying to get the gap as accurate and as small as I can, the gap of white space between each straight hatching line. And this all might seem a bit very peculiar, unusual, but it's really intended for your hand to build that sort of fine motor skills. And the third exercise I do is cross hatching, which is a pretty standard form of shading. I'm going in with straight lines and then doing them at 45 or 90-degree angle, somewhere between that. And I can also use cross-hatching or shading, if you prefer smooth shading, to build a grayscale. Now, another challenge, an obstacle a lot of young artists have, is building a great variety of values like light, shadow, dark, and light shades. Oftentimes, when you're not very experienced, it can tend to look gray or oatmeal-y. So you really don't want to refrain. You want to have that courage to really press down very hard or go very light, as I'm doing right now. So practicing sketching or shading grayscales is also another great way to build your fine skills for any drawing. And the fifth one I like to do is to do curves with varied pressure. So what I'm doing now is I'm pressing down really hard on one part of the curve and going very light as I can on the other end. And what this does is that it gets your hand adapted to changing the pressure of the line of any mark that you're making. And a bonus is writing backwards. Now, why would I want to write backwards, you ask, besides emulating Da Vinci's journals? Well, writing backwards, with that little transition time, it really shows you the discrepancy between your brain and what your hand does. Because if you're not used to it like me, you'll see it's kind of awkward. So I'm doing a close-up to show you how I draw these exercises. Once again, for the feathers, I'm going in with very smooth curves, and you can do it slow. Obviously, any of these exercises, you can start out slow, and you just want to get it as accurate as possible. Get your hand as comfortable and used to it as possible so that you can build it over time. And this part of art, for me, is a lot like sprinters or athletes who do these sort of drills, or pianists, musicians who practice scales and trills. You know, most pianists, they don't like playing Hanon all day, but it's part of building this process of eventually getting to physically being able to do whatever you want, whatever your brain wants, without any sort of hindrance. And here I'm doing my little cross hatching. So you can see I'm going quite fast, but that's because I've had like maybe decades of doing this now, and I'm like 20 something, so all right. I'm going in very straight, and here I'm doing it very light, so as light as I can. You really want to get your body, your hand, used to going very deep with the pressure or very light, and being able to switch that very quickly. Another exercise I'm doing here is doing one straight line of shading from very dark to very light, and you can also go backwards, vice versa, to make that gradient, and it will really help you get used to contrast and variation in all things, as my high school art teacher liked to teach us. And I think it's a really great way to go about it, because contrast and variation is what makes a work of art sort of interesting, though I guess all rules are meant to be broken. And once again, I'm writing backwards, which shows you just how different the brain and hands are. Okay, so those wrap up pretty much my main little agility exercises for your hand. I hope you really enjoyed this, and that you can find little time sort of in your notebooks, sketchbooks, to practice this whenever you feel like it. And I'm pretty sure it accumulates over time. Little by little, you'll notice that your fingers get a lot more agile and will obey better what your brain wants it to do, right? Okay. And these are pretty much very useful for building up your fine motor skills, and eventually you'll be able to apply that to all of your drawings, okay? All right, Callie, I hope you found this really useful and that you enjoyed this, and I'll stay tuned very soon for another video tutorial, probably about how I draw a cat. By the way, you can find me on Instagram under La Princesse des Beaux-Arts. I'm an artist living in Paris, and I do a lot of videos about my life and art tutorials and culture here on my channel. Thanks! And if you want to do an art lesson with me or portfolio review, it's on my website, where you can also see a lot of the stuff I make. Okay, bye! Oh man, I have a tummy ache. I think I ate too many vegetables. Oh. Okay, bye.